thing again? I think that was
Explanation of
very
what?
nice. The
Damn.
XYUZY team. It's UXXY. Right?
At this
Hey,
point,
y'all,
well,
welcome
I've heard
back to
it
Ghost Talk. Today we got a special goat.
I understood
Mind
it.
you, yo, we just had to redo this entire podcast. We had technical difficulties. She did give us an actual explanation of what Maryam does, which was UX UI. Please explain.
And a number of other things. So yeah.
We'll start with the UX first.
Yeah, the XUXXY. How you say it?
UX UI.
Welcome back to Ghost Talk.
UXUI.
Yes, UX UI. So what I was saying before is that UX UI is kind of two sides of the same coin. So it's hard to do one without the other. So if you're, let's say, designing an app, designing a website, or designing like a product, there's a specific design process that you go through to, get the end product. And of course, you have to worry about keeping the user experience all overall in mind. So UX stands for user experience, and that's more, scientific. It's a little bit more strategic and a little bit more psychological. So that's where you do the bulk of your research when it comes to, the app itself. When it comes to the users, you really deep dive into the research. And then once you have a solid foundation of the research and you understand who your users are, then you can move on to the UI. And UI stands for user interface. So that's, what the user ends up seeing, whether that be like an app or website, or like I said, like a physical product. And that's where, color theory, typography, visual, like all that stuff, that's where it comes in. So they work hand in hand.
What's color theory?
So color theory, it's very interesting, actually. It's like terracotta, basically.
Terracotta is their favorite color.
Now, yeah, okay, before we start every single podcast, we ask people what their favorite color is. Most people's favorite color is either red, blue, white. It's a regular human being color. This person looked at me in the eye and said, Terra some shit. And I'm like,
Terracotta.
Why don't you just say orange, bro?
Why?
Yeah, he does the
you know
same
how
thing
many-
to me.
listen,
Or
though.
you know how many
what's your
colors-
favorite color?
Look, it's the same thing every time I say I don't have a favorite color. My
And then
favorite color is whatever color the sunset is. And then he goes, bro, that's so weird. Just pick
Just
blue and
pick
shit.
a goddamn
See,
color, bro.
he
Niggas
wants you to
just
be
want to be
basic.
special
Just be like, it's
snowflakes.
blue or
Everybody wants to
something,
be a special snowflake nowadays.
Watch this. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Boo.
Nah, it's purple. Regular. Purple. Just simple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Why would I?
I went to Southwest.
That doesn't explain anything.
Southwest is our school colors were purple.
And he's from Minnesota, so
The
Vikings.
Vikings were purple. There's a lot of
That's tragic.
Purple rain.
So then color theory. Does
No,
it
that's
does it
what we're
connect to
talking
that though? What I thought color theory was like looking at what colors make people like feel emotions and stuff.
That's exactly what it is. So
Oh,
color
okay.
theory is basically color psychology. So if you think of mental health apps and services,
Yeah.
a lot of them, they use blues and greens. And blue is a very calming color when it comes to when it comes to psychology. That's why they use that. Fast food places, they use bright colors to kind of catch your attention, reds and yellows and oranges and all that. So it's understanding how that psychology of that works and then applying it to whatever app or website that you're making. So you have to understand the psychology behind it as well.
So if you were making like an app or a website for like Somali nationalism, would you use? Is it that simple where you would just use like baby blue and white as the colors for that?
I mean, something like that. If you're tapping into the nationalism of it, you have to obviously use the flag. Otherwise, I think people would take offense to that. But yeah, it really depends on what you're working on.
Awesome.
We got to introduce you, though, because you got so many titles. And also, you were the one who you started this as well. You're the one who shot the first ever Ghost Talk podcast, which was with Demo.
Big shout out.
Shout out to you. So if you can just live list all of the things you do, and also miss one so I can add it. So I did research or some
I
shit.
got you. So firstly, I'm a UX UI designer. I just graduated in January from a boot camp.
Mashallah.
So I got my certification, and I was doing that for about a year. In the meantime, I do digital branding as well as just freelance. So I work with, business people or people who have entrepreneurial dreams, that have businesses that they want to, launch, that need a brand identity or brand personality. So that's where I would come in. So I design logos, print materials, whatever they need, and help them throughout that process of building up their brand. And then I also do wedding photography and videography as well. And I've been doing that for, I think, 3 years now.
Oh,
is it my? Yeah. Okay.
There you
You
go.
missed something.
Here's your cue.
Your blog.
Dope.
Yeah.
I also have a blog.
What made you start a blog though?
I've honestly, if there's anything in my life that I've constantly enjoyed, it's writing. From the get go, I used to go through like journals when I was younger.
Wow,
You know, so it's carried on obviously throughout my adulthood. But my blog, I don't take it seriously. It's kind of just my internal monologue. I just write whatever comes to my mind. But yeah, it's an outlet, just for your thoughts.
Come on, man. Gosh.
We're getting in our feelings.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's disrespectful, man. We're trying to do the professional thing here, and your phone is ringing.
So I was reading one of your articles.
Which one?
It was the not feeling yourself lately article. And so I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like attention getters are definitely a thing. But your article started off with a line. It wasn't even like, it was like the first paragraph, and then it caught my eye, and I'm like, oh wow, I gotta finish this because this is totally me. Where it's like, yo, you're feeling some type of way. You're probably just gonna try to ignore it as if it's normal. How far has that gotten you? And I'm like, I always when I feel anxious, sad or whatever, I always just been it's gonna go away.
Yeah, you brush it off.
What made you like be vulnerable on the blog?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever considered it as being vulnerable. At least that's a good way to look at it. I feel like you bring that up sheds like a different light to it. But like I said before, a lot of my blogs or what I write about are things that just either, you know, I went through just not feeling yourself or not being motivated or just having, you know, the stress of like postgraduate, you know, anxiety and all that. So I really just write from the heart and whatever comes to mind. And I feel like because of that, it relates to a lot of people, or a lot of people can relate back to it because we all go through the same things in different ways.
What are like ways you guys like get through anxiety? Because I went on my first walk in a while, and I realized I'm getting fat. 'Cause I got tired so fast, wallah. It was beautiful outside. What do you do?
I go to therapy.
Mashallah.
Oh yeah, you do go to
That's a
therapy.
wonderful answer.
I do.
Huh?
That's a wonderful answer.
I heard, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a white people answer.
Oh.
And I was like, damn, you feel some type
We
of way.
promote therapy
Damn.
here.
Yeah, it kind of is a white.
But
people.
how like honest to God though, like what made you
What's your experience been like?
why did you get into therapy? Like what made you go your first time? Was it
My
court?
first time I didn't want to go.
So was it through like court?
No.
The probation officer was like, yo, you got hey man,
They said
the judge
court
don't like it
mandated.
if you have therapy under your face.
No. It was just like through school and like teachers and stuff, whatever. So but I was a kid. I was like a little kid, so I was like, I don't want to do this. Just fucking therapy shit.
How old were you?
I think I was like 6th grade, 7th grade, middle school. I don't really remember, but yeah. So I didn't like it at all. I hated it, and then like I didn't go to therapy. I didn't go back after I was done with that for a very long time. Like throughout high school, like beginning of college, I was like, nah, I ain't with that therapy shit. And then probably like beginning of my sophomore year of college, my mental health started to get really bad. And I went to like a bunch of different therapists, but like I did not like them at all. It was not a very enjoyable experience, so I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not gonna do this. I knew it was a terrible thing to do. And then I went back. Yeah, I like my therapist.
But what
cool,
made you go
cool
back?
vibes.
Like, what was the reason?
Oh, because my mental health was shit. That was the reason.
Like, how did you like? Was it like more so you realized that it was your mental health, or was it
Not
the
even
reading?
like me.
How did you even figure that out?
Not even me realizing. Just like medically, it was not in good shape. But also the people around me, would like family, friends.
They'd notice.
Yeah, would notice as well. So yeah, for a while I was on medication for it. I'm not on medication for my anxiety anymore, alhamdulillah. But now, yeah, I just go to therapy. But like I would have like panic attacks, stuff like that. So like, it was like, you know, like for some people, like you have anxiety and you have depression, but it's not like to the point or to the extent just yet where like it affects you physically.
Yeah. They're high functioning.
Yeah,
It
it affects you physically, but like you're not just like immobile because of it. But like once cause like until I started having panic attacks, like I wouldn't say I had anxiety. Like in my mind, I didn't think I had anxiety. I was like, I'm straight. I just like overthink stuff or or I'm just stressed out, or I'm this or that, or even like when doctors, because I would go to the doctors for check-in and I'll do like the little paper and I'd be like 0, 0, 0, and she'd be like, oh, you probably should get this. I'm like, Naktan, she's crazy, bro. I'm fine.
I'm
Ain't nothing
chilling
wrong with me. But when it started physically affecting me, then I was like, yo, we got a problem. So then I did what I had to do. I got the help I had to get, and I'm doing better now, alhamdulillah. But yeah, definitely go to therapy if you need to go to therapy.
Would you ever be an advocate for it, in a sense of just like speaking out loud? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. Before that article, I don't think, even in our community, I'm being honest with you, like I'd never heard of the idea of, unless we talked about therapy once, but it was like no one ever talks about mental health.
Yeah,
like
I feel like they talk about it and there's awareness to it, you know, especially there's so many mental health organizations right now, which is a great thing, but the action is, I feel like, where we're lacking.
And I think we're lacking in the action of it because no two brains are the same. My brain, your brain, her brain.
Exactly.
None of our brains will react to anxiety or anything in the same way. And no two people's life experiences or how they deal with stuff is the same. So I think we're lacking in the action aspect of it because people are making this cookie cutter,
one size fit all. Everything.
One size fit all solution to anxiety and depression and bipolar and all these different like mental health issues that people have. They'll give you like a cookie cutter answer. Go to therapy, get medication if you need it. Like that's the solution to everybody's problems, or that's the direct path to everybody's problem, to everybody's to get to everybody's solutions. But I feel like the advice that I would give is acknowledge it. First of all, don't self-diagnose. That's the first thing I would say, because I feel like a lot of people in our community self-diagnose. They'll say, yeah, I'm depressed, I have depression, or I have anxiety. Like there's people that like get degrees, have professions that it's their job to like learn about and diagnose these things. Look at it as an actual like sickness, like a cough, or like if you got, I was gonna say diarrhea, but I don't think that's fitting. What if you got diarrhea or something like that? Look at it honestly like that. Go to the doctor, get a checkup. They'll do an analysis. They'll tell you, okay, this is what we think you have. Then proceed from there. Don't neglect the deen aspect of it if you're Muslim, because I feel like that is a huge part. And then like lastly, like big shout out to Chowder. He talks about this a lot, but it's not like one or the other. You know, people make it seem like, oh, it's one or the other. Either you fix it through deen or you fix it through like medicine, you know? But in reality, it's a beautiful mesh of the both, especially if you're lucky enough to have the faith of Islam and you're Muslim and you have, you know, all these resources, you know? Faith and medicine, I think, is the perfect kind of mix for it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you want to do it.
How do you cope? How do you deal with it?
I feel like I do a lot of different things. One way is definitely writing. Not necessarily like writing about my feelings or, you know, unleashing that, but just going into a safe space or just a space where I'm by myself, and then just writing about anything that comes to my mind, you know. And the thing with writing is you get so lost in it and you kind of forget about where you are or any of the problems that you have, and you end up just writing from your heart. And that's actually like how a lot of my blog posts came about. I just started writing because I was just going through, or life was just, you know, kicking my ass or whatever. And then I just wrote a piece and I'm like, okay, this is nice, I'm gonna do it again. And then that's basically how I started writing. And other ways I do it, which is probably like not the healthiest, is I tend to like throw myself into work. So I'll just like, you know, either take a lot of bookings or whatever, and I'll just throw myself into work. But then that just stresses you out even more, so I don't recommend that. But find a good outlet for yourself, something that you're gonna enjoy, something that isn't going to be, you know, a distraction for you. So find a nice balance, but also something that is gonna bring you some solitude for sure. That's what I would recommend.
You shot the Demo podcast. You were there during that conversation, well, both conversations, because we had to redo it. How, like, when we asked you to get on the show and help us out, first, did you expect the podcast to go that way? Like, just the podcast in general? And second, did you expect the Demo podcast to go the way it went?
Honestly, I didn't have any expectations, because I'm not gonna lie, the only way I knew Demo was through all the videos I saw of him that were circulating, and it was always something crazy going on. So I didn't really know what to expect, but once he came and he started talking, I'm like, this guy is actually pretty calm until the very end.
Yeah.
Then I changed my mind. but I don't know. I'm very like a behind the scenes person, so obviously I'm like worrying about, oh my god, this light is gonna turn off and it's gonna be embarrassing, or this camera is gonna stop recording, because it's happened to me before. So I'm worrying about that. But you know, I'm all about support, honestly. So I'm glad I was able to be there.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We're glad.
Putting
we're
a
glad
positive
to,
light on it.
We're glad to. I feel like we're all just for a second just reminiscing. That's what. It
Well,
was.
I'm not gonna lie. I was live
we
replaying
all
every
for like
single
half
moment.
a second just had like a. It feels longer than it actually was because we were in
Yeah.
front of cameras, but we're all like, good old days. I remember.
It wasn't
them.
that long ago though.
When the whole room was purple. Remember that?
Yeah, it was
The
different.
whole
There was
room would be
different
purple.
that
colors.
was a vibe. Alive.
Yeah, it was. It was a
Yeah.
great. Now it's very bright in here. Very bright, but
No, I had like the idea of like that's one project that you picked up, right?
Mhm.
And you do videography and photography as well. The idea of freelancing always was interesting to me, because it's just like picking up gigs.
Yeah.
So what's the most interesting gig you've ever picked up where you're just like, oh, this is a thing? And two, what was like the most stressful situation you've been in, and how did you deal with it?
I'm not gonna lie. Everything that I pick up is interesting. not to say that
What's
to like,
something that stood out?
but I would say anything wedding related has been the most interesting thing, because obviously you work with Somalis. It's very chaotic environment. You see a lot of things, you know. But that's honestly what makes it fun, and I think that's why I keep going back. I like the chaotic environment or the chaos of it in general. But
Come on, tell us a story. Tell the audience a story of just one time where it's just
spill some
shit
tea, yeah.
shit hit the fan. He was just like, damn.
oh my gosh, I mean, I've seen like real life fights.
Huh?
Like I have footage of
Did
like
you cut him on?
actual-
You caught him on camera? That's what I was going to ask. Bro.
She got footage. TMZ. عادي.
TMZ. I could sell it and just live off that one, but no, I've seen some crazy thing, which is why I said like I don't want to have a wedding earlier. But
Wait, why don't you want to have a wedding?
That's crazy to me.
I don't want to have a wedding either, by the way.
Honestly-
but I don't think I have it. So I don't think it's my choice.
Yeah, you don't
As,
have
like,
a choice.
the
I
guy.
need something
Yeah,
to
it's
get
not
dressed
your
up
choice.
too.
Yeah, I have no choice. I'm just my job is to just show up.
Yep.
And look-
your job is easy enough.
Yeah, just show up and look decent. But if it
Yeah.
was my choice,
hmm
I wouldn't have a wedding. Not a big
Yeah.
wedding, at least. But why don't you want to have a wedding?
I mean, before I came into the wedding industry, especially the Somali wedding industry, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a big wedding. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But then you see the realities of it. You see behind the scenes of what people actually go through, and I mean, I've come across other photographers who are just the best people to work with, but there's other vendors in the industry who are just not the nicest people, or they're very disrespectful, or they do wrong by their clients, just horrible track records in general, and then that just makes the whole wedding experience just not
Bro,
great.
Is that a Somali thing? Where it's just like, I feel like sometimes when we deal with just, like you said, vendors and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we always get treated like second-class citizens, especially like when it comes to stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, like for example, if I go into a store right now, I'll speak the Mall of America has a place. If I walk in, I'm automatically profiled. Is that something that you've seen or no?
Oh yeah,
100%.
all the time.
Or like, I feel like they don't respect our money, which is crazy.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Like the director of Black Panther, when he walked into, did you guys see that?
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Mm.
He walked into a bank and then he gave them a note, like
He was taking
all
out a
you
lot
had
of
to do
money.
was read the note, read the fucking note, right?
She didn't read it.
I mean,
heard
if
she
she
did it.
did, she would understand. So on the note, it said like, I don't want like anybody to rob me or to make a scene or whatever. So I want to cash out $12,000, which is a lot of money. Like in cash, $12,000 is a lot of money. I want to cash out $12,000. Like here's a note, so I don't say that shit out loud, and like somebody follows me to my car
Yeah.
and robs me or whatever. So could you just like put it somewhere for me and like give it to me, like maybe over there in the corner? Shorty like saw the note, saw a black guy with a mask, pressed the police button.
You know what's crazy? She was black too.
No way.
Yeah, she was black.
See, that's what makes it even worse.
But no, I was talking about like
That's
in a
crazy.
sense of like customer to client, right?
Mhm.
So like, let's say we go to a Somali restaurant
Mm.
and we sit down. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it takes a while, or you have to grab
Yeah.
the person's attention, right? But if an Adam person walks in, right?
They whip out the menu, the
Ex-
menu that
Right.
nobody, they whip
I
out
didn't know
the
they had a
menu
menu.
that
They
nobody
gotta
ever
dust it
sees.
off.
Because when you Somali, you walk in, like, there ain't no menu. Other محاها وحنويا البريس باستو fish
وحربتها.
steak. روح عرفت الدنيا واحدة بالله هذه. محي. And then you order something. Can I get half rice كتلتي؟ ما هو معنا هذه half rice كتلتي. But when you're right. When the white guy walks in, they whip out the 2 menus.
The voice become high
And
pitched.
I feel like it's the same thing with vendors. Like if somebody goes in, it's just like a wedding hall or something. It's a Somali wedding hall. The way they're treated versus like an Adan person coming in saying we're gonna rent out this space is completely different. I don't know. I just feel like when it's just Somali on Somali interactions are very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the moment.
It'd be your own people, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Until like Qabyarad is in play, then it's all love.
Oh, wallah, kamarkas.
Yeah. That's what
Okay.
they say. Yeah, but if they don't know, or if like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. But we also get the luxury of having, it's like a win-loss. Because like you get treated like shit, but you have the luxury of like renting from or dealing with somebody who's like that kagi, you know what
Basically,
I mean?
yeah.
So like, even you can low-key be an asshole to them, like, it could just go both ways. It's not
Right.
like if you're an asshole to like a Adan vendor, they're just gonna tell you like fuck off, like go
Yep.
somewhere else. But then Somali guy, he's just gonna be like Somali lewa. So I feel like we do it to ourselves in a way.
It
you
matches
know?
a little bit.
Yeah, we like we act a certain way to each other, so everybody just expects like it's whatever. It's not.
But
that
it
big
goes
of
to
a deal.
that same thing of just expecting a discount too, though.
Yeah,
Like
That's
if,
the other
like we'll
thing.
go like for
Oh, yeah.
videography
Friends and family
photography.
discount, but I'm just like, you're not gonna go haggle the white man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why are you doing
Like
that to your
if you
own
had
people?
a gig, like if you were talking
Yeah.
to people that are getting married and they're like, "Yo, this is how much I charge."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do they usually push back on how much you ask?
Yes.
All the
If
time.
you were
They will-
Adan, do you think it would have been like, "Yo,
No, and that's why the Adans charge the way they charge.
Yeah.
Because I feel like us as Somalis, we undersell ourselves a ton, like way too much.
say that a little bit louder."
We undersell ourselves. I feel like we minimize our own potential just because that's the standard and that's what everybody's doing. But like non-Muslim or non-Somali wedding vendors, they make a lot of money because they stick to their prices and they up their prices every year as well. You know, us Somalis, we don't do that. We stick to the same price every year. You know, and then also on top of that, you're getting haggled, discount this, discount that. Like, you're not gonna go anywhere.
I feel like that's extremely true in tech as well. Like if
Mhm.
you like had someone goes up to like a mom and pop shop that Somali run, and it's like, "Yo, I'll build you a website." Like let's just keep it simple, like a website, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like a Somali person coming up to them and shaking their hand. It's like, this is the price that we're willing to pay. You're like, yo, like you're not even going to hear my price. Like, yo, like I'm the one that's offering the service.
Yep.
And it's like, and then when you give them like a realistic amount, it's like, well, why don't I so? Compared to like, if an
That's
Adan
so
person
true,
comes or
Omar.
they look for Adan service, the Adan
Yeah.
service is on their website. It's like, yo, I'm charging $3,000 for this website.
Yep.
It's no questions asked. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just a me thing. I honestly feel like some people in our community feel like Somali people's quality is less compared to like
That
a
is
Adan
true.
person doing
which
it.
is not true. It's
Yo, there's some talented people in our community.
very,
Wallahi.
very talented who should be. Also, I feel like we do it to ourselves though, in a way.
Back to what she said.
Yeah, we do it to ourselves. Like, cause like now that I think about it, Adan kada lotago and they're like, yeah, tadawakun, you know, $7,000, whatever. They're gonna go back and then they'll be like, ha, ninki Adan wuxuu dhahay tadawakun be keena lacagta qofkiiba laba kun keena.
They're gonna
2000
they gonna
start
figure out how to
making
get the
shit
money.
No, ayutadii last week bisha way u adag tahay. Ayutadii bisha aanu igu qor, that's what's gonna happen, something like that, you know. But if like Somali guy comes and then they start bargaining, what meeshan waa lagu qeynlaya, meeshan suuqa xoolaha miyaa lagu dhahaa. Pay the money or like leave, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we gotta put our foot down too though, in a way. Like the next generation, we can't fold for that.
Yeah, don't fold.
We gotta put our foot down and be like, yo, asking price is 5 racks.
Mhm.
But as a community of photographers as well, like y'all gotta like show love to each other enough where like if like Thunder's like, yo, 5 racks, right? It can't be normal for him to go to somebody else, another Somali photographer,
Mhm.
and then bargain him down to 4 racks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What do you mean?
So like if he leaves Thunder and he goes to Maryam, for example, and then he talks to Maryam, like Thunder's like 5 racks,
Yeah.
right? And then he comes to Maryam and okay, 3 racks. And then he goes to Hanad, and then it's like, yeah, 3 racks, maybe I'll do 2.5. Then it's okay culturally, like mentally, it's okay for them to when Thunder says no, for them to be like, alright, fuck off then, I'm gonna go to somebody else.
But I'm not
You know
gonna
what
lie
I'm
to you.
saying?
But I feel like that's where Thunder's value comes though, Because if Thunder is cold enough to charge 5,000, right, and they have to go to someone else, and that person is willing to do it less, right?
Yeah.
And Thunder's quality is better than theirs, right?
Yeah.
That's what.
But he's not gonna get work.
But it's not that about him getting work though.
He's not gonna get so much work. Like,
yeah, but it's more about him just sticking to
because
his
eventually,
own.
look.
do you think eventually he'll just lower his price?
I feel like that's a lot.
I
That's
love
what
how
a lot
we're
of people
talking
do.
about Thunder like he's not here.
Hi, Thunder.
But do you guys think he'll want that person just eventually just lower
I feel
their
like
price?
maybe that's what people like. Eventually, that's what they do.
I feel like
You
it's the
know?
market rate. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
if someone is cold as hell, right, and they stand firm on their price, if they're not getting work, they're in a market where clearly they're saying a lot more than they're really worth, right? It goes back to what are you really worth, right?
Yeah.
Compared to, yo, I'm worth 7,000. I have clients lined up for me right now.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go down. Forget you. Go to
Yeah.
somebody else who's willing to do you
Facts.
3,000.
Facts,
but-
a lot.
You might have to go. The market being our community, right? Being Somalihan, you might have to go to another market, being Adan or somewhere else that's willing to pay you that 7,000.
Mhm.
Where you're like, yo, I have 2-3 clients next week that are giving me 7,000. Why the hell would I do 4,000 for you?
You know, it's another thing I've been thinking about. How do we break the bubble of like, because I feel like a lot of artists, photographers, videographers, even musicians, whatever it may be, we're in like especially Minneapolis, like a
Mhm.
bubble where all we do is work with and collaborate with and like work for Somali clients. Like how can we break that bubble so like it's not just the Somali you're popping in the Somali community, but like you're good everywhere, especially like in
Mm.
Minnesota. You know
Well,
what I mean?
feel like
Yeah.
the first thing might be fear.
That's the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what's stopping me.
For real?
I'm just scared. I don't know. I feel like it's different. I'm so comfortable with working, with Somalis because I know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
But if I go to like a non-Muslim wedding, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how they structure their weddings. I'm just in a very uncomfortable environment. But then again, like that's kind of how you grow.
So learning,
You know what
it's
I
like a
mean?
learning curve.
It's a learning curve, exactly. But I'm just
You
scared.
I'm making my coin
I'm like,
somewhere
I'm
else.
comfortable here.
I'm not gonna take a pay cut to feel uncomfortable.
And if you're comfortable and you're good like where you are, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I was thinking of like more just broader, just like as an entire
I'm gonna
art-
speak for tech,
Yeah.
right? I'm be honest with you. This is speaking for like someone like, again, I'll go back to the the website example, right? Like so my client asks you for a website, right? Just the way the interaction goes is like, I'll build it for you in a month.
Mhm.
The month ends, right? Let's say you're not done. We as Somali are more comfortable talking to another Somali person saying, yo, Adar, it's taking a little bit longer. That's how it is, right? Compared to like, if you go and do it for an Adan person, there's this level of like you said, fear of like, damn, if I mess this up, what's going to happen? And I'm be honest with you, I don't think anything's going to happen. Can you get sued now that I think about it?
Yeah, you can get sued.
For real?
100% you can get
So like
sued.
if you promise a client something
Mm-hmm.
and it's not done by that time,
It's not.
they're going to ask for the money
I
back.
mean, it's not
worst case
necessarily
scenario.
that. I feel like timelines can be kind of like more flexible. But if you have a contract with somebody and you say, hey, like I'm gonna deliver X, Y, and Z to you, and you deliver, either you don't deliver that or you deliver very low quality work, and they ask for their money back and you refuse to give it to them, 100% they can sue you.
Wait, what if you give their money back though? What happens?
Oh, then you're good.
Then you're
then
good?
you're good, yeah.
Then I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like we gotta burst out the bubble. If that's the worst thing that happened to get the money back, hey yo, y'all gotta go get y'all money from the other
No.
markets.
Yeah.
100%. But you gotta do right by your clients.
But also,
you
I
know?
don't even think it's that. It won't be that bad, bro. Bro, wallahi, Adan people's like standards aren't. It's not that high. Where
It's really
I've
not. That's
seen
the
some
crazy
trash
thing.
Adan
work.
people's, that's true. But also, I feel like where we're kind of messing it up is we think their standards is higher than our quality
Mhm.
of work
And it's
that we can
not.
put out. It's
It's
not
not.
even close, bro. The stuff that I'm seeing like from my peers in their
Mhm.
work, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's great work. And like for small businesses or I'm not talking about like when I say like Adan, I'm not saying like, and again, like we don't need Adan people, like the validation. We don't need
Yeah.
that. We don't need it
just
for the
them
credit.
coins.
We definitely don't need it for the money. Not really. Like there's people that are making.
We got money.
Yeah, there's people.
We're
Somali
good.
people got money. There's
Yeah.
people that are making a shit ton of money just only working with Somali people, right?
Mhm.
But just like as an understanding, just as a question, as like a theory of like I've always thought about that. Like, why don't we go out and work with these people or outside of our community?
Mhm.
That would be easy to do, bro. Well, I don't.
like an artist saying, yo, I'm gonna start trying to perform on First Ave, okay,
That's doable. That's so doable.
But
Bro,
like,
just go to First Ave on every. But it's not niggas. It's not like Drake is there.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's bro. And then on top of that, the fact that okay, you got mediocre guys performing there,
Every
and
Friday
on top of
too.
that, you got extremely talented Somali artists that aren't performing there. I'm trying to figure out where's the gap. Why
Where's
is
that
that
disconnect?
happening? Yeah, where's that disconnect? Because it's not talent. It's definitely not talent, and
I
it's definitely
honestly
not.
I feel like it's one. Is that one thing of that learning curve, right?
Mhm.
Of with us, so my people, when we make something right away, there's already this validation of like, yo, you're doing so well. Like, there's people that are gonna buy from you, right? So you already have this standard, like videography. She's doing well. She's making her money, right? Compared now, if she has to like go to that another person, right? She's basically starting from ground zero, where she's not making as much money, right? The validation ain't there because they don't know anyone, so they
Mhm.
literally have to rebuild. So it's that fear of like, damn, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. Like, I'm releasing a sound on SoundCloud. All these Somali people around the world are listening to it.
Mhm.
My shit's a little jumping.
Mm.
I'm making a little bit of money. Cool. But if I go to First Ave and I'm on a stage and ain't nobody singing my song and I'm paying to get on stage, it's an avenue of like, damn, like it's a little bit, you got to humble yourself. And I'm telling you, that's a
Yeah.
lot harder than it seems, wallah.
Yeah, I feel like the two sides of the coin is if you are where you are and you're comfortable and you're content with that, I don't appreciate people that try to force people that are in that kind of place into
Yeah.
somewhere else.
I feel there's a ceiling
Fine.
to that though.
Yeah, that's good. If you're good where you are and like you aren't complaining and you love it and you're having a great time,
Then stay
have
there.
a good time.
Like
But
I
if
said.
for the folks that aren't content with where they are, you have to be uncomfortable and you have to face the fear. Like
Say that a
everything
little
great
bit louder.
is on the other side of fear. Everything powerful is on the other side of fear. So like you gotta have to like see it head on. And if you're uncomfortable, that means you're growing. That's a good thing. That's a positive
Mhm.
thing. It means that again, I mean like when I say uncomfortable, I don't mean like you're unsafe or
Yeah.
or like you know what I mean? But uncomfortable I mean like
In an environment that you just
yeah,
You're
that
not
you're
used
new
to,
to.
yeah.
you're not used to,
Mhm.
yeah, whatever. But like, if you feel unsafe, don't do it. That's not what I mean. Okay, don't say Muhammad told me to do it. Don't lie. But I feel like that's important, bro. For
But I
you to
feel like
push
it's that fear of rejection after you cross over. Because I'm not going to lie, to you, there's a lot of people who did try to do the crossover thing. When they try to come back, it wasn't so sweet for them.
Mhm.
Kanan, for example.
True. True. Facts.
So, like, how... That's another question of being like, yo, how can you cross over and also maintain your roots, right? And just not... Because sometimes when you cross over, they expect you to do stuff that we as a community don't accept,
Mhm.
right? So how can someone keep their roots who they are and also grow?
Stay true to it.
You really gotta understand yourself and your own values and be very solid on that before you go and move on to something else.
Mhm.
You know, because I feel like people, they might see like a little bit more money, a little bit more whatever, and then like, what is Dan? They just forget about themselves, you know. So you gotta really stick to your values, because especially in, you know, the wedding industry and all that, like it's very easy to get caught up, like, you know, carried away with everything that's going on. So you have to really be solid on yourself, you know. And I think that goes for like any field, honestly, not even just.
Speaking of growth, what made you get into UX and UI, and how did you get into it?
I was introduced to UX like very late college. So my first major actually in college was computer forensics. I wanted to
Security
be
analyst,
like,
yeah?
I wanted to be, if you guys know Penelope from Criminal Minds,
yeah.
that's what I wanted to be. And then I went abroad and did an internship, and I hated it so much. Like, it was the worst internship in the world.
Wait, what were
it.
things you had to do though?
I didn't understand it. I was in Spain, and I didn't understand the language, first of
Ooh,
all.
Where in Spain?
In Madrid.
Wait,
The experience was amazing.
So wait, you had an internship
Yeah.
that was not only it was like abroad.
Mm-hmm.
It was also like regarding your actual career path.
Yeah.
Wait, how did that happen? Let me just
So-
start from the beginning, wallah.
In order to graduate, I had to do an internship. And then
That's crazy.
this abroad thing just fell into my lap. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just kill two birds with like one stone and go abroad, do my internship, have fun, and then come back. And I could just finish up the rest of my program. The experience itself was amazing. Like, I love Madrid, you know? But the internship was just a bust. I hated it. I was like, if this is what I have to do after I graduate, you can count me out. And I came back home, I changed my major.
What was things you had to do though? Like, what did you hate?
I didn't understand any of it. That's the thing. Like,
She said, I didn't know what was going on.
I literally didn't know what was going on.
So there's a language barrier, and
there was
there's
a
also
language
the.
barrier.
Did you pick up any Spanish?
Barely. I could order tacos. That was
Were
about it.
the
though.
They have
tacos
tacos
fire
in
there?
Madrid.
Oh, they have the best tacos. Come on.
We went to
Spain.
Me and Thunder went to southern Spain. We went to like Malaga and
Oh,
Seville,
okay,
so
okay.
they didn't have any of that.
Aren't those like the more historical cities? They
Yeah.
don't have like the modern, or maybe I'm.
Madrid is more modern. Barcelona
Madrid
is
is
more
very.
modern.
It's very westernized.
Yeah,
It's very
but
touristy.
southern Spain, like live, we had no clue what these people ate. We just had like chicken shawarmas for like the entire time we were there, because there's a lot of Moroccans
Was
there.
it
So
good
when
though?
you said tacos, huh?
The-
The best chicken shawarma I ever had in my life.
You said that like it was mediocre. They were busting no, huh?
They were amazing, wallah, the best. 10 out of 10.
That's what matters.
Twice a day?
Wallah, me and Thunder, we posted there. We were like, another one, chicken shawarma. We'd come back like, oh, American brothers, how you doing? Welcome back, chicken shawarma. But yeah, that's why I asked, because they didn't have tacos there. So we were like,
No, Madrid is it's very touristy. So sometimes you feel like you're in the States, which is kind of ghetto. But that's how like they built it now. Yeah.
But like, what was a day in the life as a forensics science major in Madrid? Like how like you woke up what time? Was it like a regular 8 to 5?
It was a regular 8 to 5. And the thing is, even if I didn't show up, they wouldn't notice I wasn't there. So I could like skip a day. You know, it was just there was no structure to this internship whatsoever. Like, I don't,
Like what kind of things did you do? I'm so curious at this point.
did you practice? Did they do siesta there? Siesta, like where they take a nap.
where they take a nap? Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Wait, they
So
actually did that?
what's the
Yeah, they do that.
amazing thing
Every
ever?
day?
Mhm. No,
Like
was
Monday to
it?
Friday?
I forget how it worked, but I remember they said they mentioned that quite a bit.
So like when we were in southern Spain, it was like that. Like around 1-2 o'clock, everything closed.
Yeah.
And niggas just went home and took a nap. So when she said there's no structure, like I kind of understood it, because like these Spanish niggas are here for
They
a
just
good
do
time.
whatever. Yeah.
They're just here to chill. They don't want
Mhm.
no. Well, I lie,
Bro,
everything
it's
shuts down,
crazy how
closes.
the United States is so workaholic.
Yeah, it's
You honestly, I saw that when I went there. I was like, these people are so chill. And when I went, it was like when they all go on holiday. So a lot of them weren't even in the office, but I think it's from like July to August that everybody goes on holiday, and it's just like mandatory. It's like a thing. Here, that's like very unheard of.
So how was the day when you actually were there and when you actually had to do some work?
How was it?
You're like, what did you do?
I remember I did like a lot of QA work, like quality assurance, or I forget what it was called, but they had me like doing like coding in this like I honestly don't even remember like half of it, but I just remember how much I didn't like it or how much I didn't enjoy it.
So you came back, you changed
So
your
I
major.
came back, I changed my major, and while I was there, actually I was introduced to like website design by some Spanish guy. He like gave me his day in the life of what he does, and he was into UX as well. So that's kind of how I got introduced to it. And then he kind of showed me the ropes of like what UX is, and you know how it kind of plays into the tech industry. So once I came back, I looked into UX, especially at my university, and I changed my major to that, and that's how I got here.
And then you also, so after you graduated, did you just go straight into like looking for jobs, or did you like how was that experience?
After I graduated college was when the pandemic hit. So I was like, damn, that's tight. I need to go figure something else out. So I took like a year off and just trying to figure out like what I was gonna do. And then I knew I liked UX because I that was my minor in college, and so I wanted like a deeper understanding of it almost, especially in my freelance. That's the bulk of what I do. Was user experience. So I wanted like a very deep understanding of it. So I decided to go for a boot camp instead of opted in for a grad school or anything like that. So I signed up for boot camp earlier, like late in 2020, and I stuck with it until this past January.
How like I read that article, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt completely different from boot camps. So let's let the audience know, how was your experience at boot camps? Do you recommend them? Like, how do you feel about them?
I would say if you're someone who doesn't like the structure of school, but you're also kind of self-disciplined, then go for boot camp. A lot of boot camps, they kind of range between 3 months and to like a year and a half. So it's not like a huge part of your life. It's not like going to school for like 4 years or 5 years. it's very intense just because, you know, you're spending very little amount of time on so much. You have so much to cover. So my program was about 10 months. I finished in like, I think 12 or 13 months. So it took me like a little bit longer. But overall, the experience was great. You know, my program, you know, they give you a mentor. You get like a career coach. You get a student advisor. So you get a lot of support. And the curriculum is really great. And it's self-paced as well. So you can kind of go at it and still have a life outside of it as well. That's what I liked about it. That's kind of why I chose it as well. But the curriculum is really great. You do your own projects. You have, you know, your own projects that you can decide like how to go about it. But then you also get that help at the end as well.
And do they offer like interviews afterwards, or is it like, do they try to get you into the field? Do they try to give you a job?
Yeah, so there's a whole career portion for Springboard, where throughout the course you're doing like career type of units to, you know, help you build up so that you're not doing everything in the end. So I had to do you have to do a behavioral mock interview, and that's just them kind of testing if you can sell yourself. Basically, that's the bulk of what it is. You also have to do a design challenge. So they give you a random design challenge, and you have to work out the entire UX from beginning to end in, I think, 1 hour. So you're basically talking for 1 hour.
Wow.
And it's a lot. It's very challenging. I failed my first time, but it really helps you build up your confidence, especially in the design industry. And then at the end, you also get an industry design project. It's called an IDP. And what they do is they actually match you with a real life company, and you go through, you know, different types of problems or different types of like real world problems that they have with their business. And it's your job to kind of solve them as well. So they throw you into a lot of different things, but it's really just to make you, you know, better.
I don't know. I feel like all boot camps and certification places are scams. That's just how I feel.
Wait a
Why
minute.
do you say that? She sounds like she
Wait
had
a
great
minute.
experience.
Honestly, well, like all schools a scam, but
Uh,
yeah.
Okay, so here's the reason why I think it's a scam. It's like, I've been in the industry for like what? I just turned 26, so 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Every job that I've had, they never hire the person who comes out of a boot camp or certification. That's the last thing that they look for. It's just in my experience. And I've had so many friends that went to boot camps that came out that are looking for jobs that can't seem to find their first job. And I feel like the reason, first, number one, I feel like they're all way too overpriced. I feel like YouTube is a great resource. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you can go on YouTube and have like full-blown courses, right?
Yep. YouTube, Udemy, all that.
There's so many free resources. Instead of, like, I know one friend who paid $15,000 for a boot camp, and he still does not have a job.
$15,000 US dollars.
$15,000.
Subhanallah, that's a lot of money.
I know a few friends that signed up for a boot camp that was like $10,000. When I heard the $15,000, oh yeah, but and then these niggas came up to me like, yeah, we paid $10,000, but that boy got hit. I'm like, you got hit. What are you talking about?
It's the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah,
It's a Spider-Man meme, which is people pointing at each other. They're all the same.
And this is my experience with tech.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where a lot of companies are going towards. I feel like it's going from the idea of like an SME, right? Someone who like knows everything and has a certification on a certain product. Like an example being, just because you have a certification on Microsoft doesn't mean you can work with all programs, right?
That's true.
Microsoft like makes certifications to sell their own products. The more people that are Microsoft certified, the more customers are going to buy Microsoft products. Right? So it's just a scam in that way, right? The second one being, these boot camps don't really care if you get a job or not. I feel like it's just like, yo, give us your money. We'll teach you what we teach
very
you.
True.
We'll teach you what we can. You'll become a decent coder, and then good luck.
But isn't that very similar to like people outside of tech? Like I have a political science and economics degree. Like they don't give a shit if I get a job or not. My school's like $54,000 a year.
All schools.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to all of this is
like, yeah,
scamming.
it's all a scam. I feel like it's just how you utilize it and how you use it. So I think you're in tech. Did you go to a boot camp?
No.
Or how did that happen then? Internship?
It wasn't even through internship. It was just straight learning. So like, my thing is
You're self-taught. You're just
self-taught,
taught.
right? In a sense of,
There's people like this that are. Do you know how, that's not everybody
No,
could just
but
like
no.
learn on their own though.
But here's the thing
Right.
though. I've been in the chair of interviewing people, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen technical interviews, right?
Yeah.
Where people just shit themselves. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? And the majority of the reason is boot camps are focused on teaching you material, right? Just like school is. School is focused on teaching you material. What is a variable? What is syntax? Just learning simple shit. Where companies want to hire someone who can do some shit, right? So majority of the thing is companies look for either experience, which is number one, right?
Yeah.
Or number two is personal projects, right? So like if my little brother right now is trying to be a front end developer, right? I'm like, yo, like you can go to a boot camp, you can learn how to develop a website. That's cool and all. But at the end of the day, if you don't go to the company with 4 or 5 portfolio websites, they're not going to look at you. Just because you have the certification, like, yo, I know how to build a website. Cool, show us. Because tech isn't, like, you can't really sell yourself in tech. You got to show what you did. It's what have you built, right? I'm not going to let you work on my house if you've never built a house before, right? And luckily for tech is you could actually see what the person built. Like, you could look at it and be like, okay. So that, my thing is, especially if someone's getting into tech, is if you can, obviously, if you're not self-taught, if you're going to school right now, don't expect once you graduate, jobs are going to come your way. I would say right now is whatever field you're trying to get into, if it's back end, front end, whatever, build a project on your own. Like actually go build websites, freelance. Like actually like go out and build a bunch of websites. Because when you get in front of that interview and they're like, yo, what have you done? You have something to show for it.
Yeah, because tech is a very experience-based industry. So you can't be like, oh, I have 4-year degree, hire me. They're going to laugh at you and hit the door. That's it. So, I mean, the thing about my bootcamp that I actually liked, and this is a huge reason why I chose it, is because all of the projects, the major projects that you do, are put into your portfolio. So now I have a portfolio that's very solid, that I have projects that I can back up and say, this is not only what I learned, but I can apply all this as well. You know, so like Hamza said, especially if you're going the self-taught route, like you have to really make sure that you come out with a good portfolio so that you can sell yourself, because they don't care about your education.
Yeah. What boot camp did you do?
It's called Springboard.
Springboard?
Yes. They have front end as well. They have like a bunch of
Probably back end too, yeah.
Back end, all that. They have different types of programs.
So I have a question for the both of you, tech people. What would you say to people who aren't passionate or interested in technology or development or whatever it may be, but they want to get into tech because of the money or because of the career or whatever it may be, or the security of it? Do you suggest that? Do you think that's a good idea? What do you guys think of that? Because I feel like there's a lot of people who get into tech, but they don't give a shit about like technology, or they're not passionate about it, or they're not interested in it at all. They're just like, yeah, I'm decent at this. I'll make a shit ton of money. I'll do it.
You answer, because first thing I say, there is no real security in tech, but
well, that's a good point actually. That's a good point, but I would say it really depends on what area of tech you're going into, because there's places where I feel like you can just do your job and like leave. There's other areas of tech, like in the design, the user experience field, where you actually kind of have to care about what you do, especially if you're working, for example, in like accessibility, or you know, you're working with people who have disabilities. You know, there's aspects of that where you actually have to have empathy and care about the users, of course, but understand why you're going into tech. You know, tech is, like Hamza said, it's not that secure. I mean, it is secure for now. It's very in demand, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. So really grasp, you know, why you're really interested in tech, or why you want to pursue it, other than the financial reasons. You know, but that's what I would say.
No, the reason why I said it was not secure is more so, like you said, if the person isn't interested and they learn something, like they spend this much time learning, like let's just say like you're in the bootcamp for a year, like 8 months, right? It goes to 10 months. You're doing something for at least a year of learning, right? The problem with tech is 2 years after that technology you learned, nobody cares about anymore. We're on to the next technology. So you got to learn that technology. And so you're always trying to keep up regardless of what you're in. Any portion of tech, either if you're infrastructure, right? You're building, designing what the developers are doing, right? Or if you're in a developer, the tools are always changing, so you got to always learn new tools. So if someone hates learning new tools, I'm not going to lie to you. Like,
you're not going to like tech.
Yeah, like your manager's going to come up to you and say, hey, yo, we picked up this new application. You'll figure it out. We got to go train everybody else on it. Because you got to be the first one to look into it. Or there's going to be an area of just like, yo, if you want to grow as an individual in tech, it's either building new software or you're bringing in new software into a company, right? Which means you're learning some new shit. And that's the only way you're going to get higher up. Your salaries I feel like are a little bit inflated right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
They are right.
Yeah, it feels like it's a little too inflated right now.
Inflated as in like they're paying more than they usually do to people.
Yeah, because
They're
I feel
paying
like a lot
way
of
more.
yeah, because a lot of it's in demand.
Yeah, it is a demand.
It's
But
the fact that they're.
I don't
like,
think it's sustainable though. I don't know. I feel like eventually they're gonna run out of money or something. I don't know.
I was looking at Amazon and we're looking at how many like, you know how you could tell like how many positions are available when you're like on careers. We're like, yo, program manager is like 2,000, and it was like HR specialist. It was like 250 people. Like, and we're like, damn, that's crazy. Yo, check how many software engineers there are. They had 29,000 open positions for software
That's
engineers.
ridiculous. And they're all paying like 100K plus, most likely.
And I feel like the reason they're paying a lot for software engineers right now is because of automation. And I honestly feel like the first people to get automated out is going to be tech people.
That's literally what I was gonna ask. So I was gonna ask, like, if you're doing automation, first of all, explain what automation is. I hang around this guy a lot, so I kind of understand this tech stuff.
Yeah, I'm hella into automation. I work with automation. Automation is basically having the computer do your work for you.
Yeah. So if you're sitting there and you're making automation for this giant company, won't you, like, if as long as like you're just static and you don't have upward mobility, you just stay where you are, won't you just get, like, no pun intended, automated out?
Yeah. The thing is right now, it's pretty hard to automate code, right?
Yeah.
Or at least coding. But it's starting to get to a point where there's something called machine learning, right? And it's the concept of like the computer is going to be thinking and writing for you. They already have like applications that, like, GitHub just released that one. I don't know if you heard of it. It's completing your sentence for you. So like as you're writing the code, it's like, yo, do you mean this? And it's like, oh shit, yeah, I actually did mean that, you know? Eventually it's going to get to a point where writing code is just going to be straight up English. I want it to look like this, and it's going to build it out for you that way. So if niggas is going to being developers, that's where that's headed. The same thing for infrastructure. I know I work in infrastructure. So I remember like my dad and them, like, he had a bunch of buddies that worked desktop and help desk, right? People would actually go help in people's computers and stuff. People are like, yo, that's going to be really hard to like automate. How could you automate someone calling in saying I need my password reset, right? Now there's chatbots, right? So like the employee doesn't have to call anybody anymore. They just write to a chatbot saying, hey, my password's not working. The chatbot's like, what's your username? Okay, here, your password has been reset. Here's your password. That used to be a person's entire job. And that person was in tech and they're already automated out. So I don't know. I don't think there's true security in tech. I just feel like a lot of people are in it. Like, if you want to get the bag and then just, you know, say get into something else.
Yeah.
So on some Black Mirror stuff, for Maryam, another question. The UX aspect of it, right, where you kind of explained is like kind of research, user's experience. Is that done mostly by humans, and eventually could that be done by computers, where a computer would just like look at a certain demographic that this application is being made for and just automate? Look at me speaking tech language.
You're killing it, boy.
But yeah, I was like,
I'm proud. I'm a little proud right now.
But just automate like like that job, or where does that line happen where you need a human to do this?
I feel like it would be hard for us to get automated out, and I think that's because doing this work, you have to be human, for lack of a better word. You have to understand the end user's experience, you know? And I don't think that's something that a computer can necessarily do. Maybe like, you know, years on end, you know, when technology is like way, way bigger than us. But, you know, like I said, you really have to understand the user. You have to go through certain design processes that like force you to think very critically. And that's the bulk of like what user experience is. That's why it's called like user experience. You know, so I don't know. I don't think we're going to be automated out anytime soon. I think the UI aspect is a different story, since that's more of interface, and that's a little bit more, you can manipulate it more. But the experience side, I feel like it's a lot more people.
How do you feel about
friendly.
business intelligence then?
Business what?
BI.
Business what?
Business intelligence.
What's that?
Oh, business intelligence is crazy, bro. So like there's entire departments for what she's saying. Do you know how she's like, someone has to look for what humans like, and like they gotta like make sure the person is into, like, if a lot of people are into this, like they gotta look at the charts and stuff. There's already algorithms that are like looking at where people's like click. It's like, oh, this person, whenever like this website looks like this, they click here more. And it's just like, okay, just make sure the button's here. or a lot
Yeah.
of people, like Amazon, for example, their front page for their recommended, nobody decides what's recommended, right? So it's a bunch of people like us go on Amazon. 10, let's just say 10 people. We all, for some reason, want to buy soap, right? It sees all 10 of us went and searched on soap. So it's going to start recommending soap.
Mhm.
And because they're going to assume, okay, if somebody gets on Amazon, they want soap. So I don't know, man. Tech is really interesting. I love tech.
That's what like usability people do too. When they're
Yeah.
testing at the very end, they'll look at like the website's hotspots, like
Mhm.
where exactly the user clicks the most, and then they build that, or they like kind of manipulate it into a way where you're kind of forced to click that more. So it's a little bit of that too.
Oh, so y'all the folks that be making them cool buttons that I just want to touch. You ever be on a website and they
Yep.
have a button you like, I gotta
That's
touch
our
that.
Yup.
Yep.
I don't know where this shit goes, but I'm gonna click it, and then you click it and it
Yep.
goes somewhere else, and you like, this shit is fire, bro. A solid website,
The way you got excited with this. Well, like, go
a
ahead.
solid website, bro, will make you buy anything, bro.
That's
go on
the goal. At the end of the day, that's the goal.
Yeah, you
They
go on
just
the
want you to
website
stay there.
and like a nice graphic pops up, the logo is there, and then you scroll up and it like snaps up, and then there's like a nice
Simple and
catalog,
modern.
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm definitely buying some shit.
You know, like 75% of our judgment on a website's credibility, it's just based on purely aesthetics.
Wow.
So you base, and that's how we work as humans. Like when we see somebody, we judge them based off of what their looks,
yeah.
right? So it's the same psychology. It's the same thing with websites as well.
Wow.
I did not know that.
That's crazy.
How do you feel about let's just start off with the broader thing of just women in tech, and then I feel like we can go to Black Muslim women in tech.
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, like
I'm trying to recruit people. I've been trying to
Yeah.
I've been trying to recruit women in tech, or just people in tech, honestly, in general, in the design industry, especially because I know a lot of people who are like in the arts, in the creatives. You know, we
Mhm.
have photographers, we have painters, we have artists, musicians, and all that. But they don't believe that their skills are transferable, or that whatever their skills they possess right now is gonna transfer into tech. And I'm like, tech is very, broad. You can do so much with it. So I've been trying to recruit people. So if you want to get into tech,
what do you think is the
I mean-
biggest blocker, or like stops?
I
with
think
women?
really like I said before, I think a lot of people, they go through this process of like they don't know what to do with their life, or they're, I've been there, obviously. I feel like a lot of us have been there, but I think a lot of us do know or do have an idea of what we want to do with our lives, or what path we want to take, but we're just too scared to actually do it, or
Mhm.
we limit our own potential, or we minimize that, and we don't go after what we truly want. And I feel like some people, they either fall into that, or they just succumb to whatever their parents say or whatever. So I think a lot of it has to do with just that fear of not taking that risk or not taking that leap. Yeah.
If what you said is true about 75% of our as human beings, our decision making is aesthetics, and how UA or UX UX is kind of about that. I don't know, man. So my women, they got it down with the aesthetics, man.
That's what I'm saying.
They know what they're doing with that. So
they would thrive.
it should be transferable, honestly.
Yeah.
Do
100%.
you feel like we have do you think there's a community now, or do you think there could be one that's built that's just more so like Black, Muslim, Somali women that have connections where they can be like, yo, if I want to get into UX UI, there's a Discord channel, or there's a Slack or somewhere where I can hit up people.
I feel like we all have our own things going on. Like I do a lot of design stuff. Another person might be like a visual artist. We do our own things, but I feel like nobody's connected, or we don't have a place that we can connect. Because I've met UX designers who are Somali, who are women, but they live in London. So I don't have a way to connect with them other than Twitter or or any other app.
You can make that community.
So I feel like we need that community, because there's so many people out there who are very like-minded, who do probably the same thing that you guys do, but you're just not connected. There's not that connection there.
And
You think
mentorship, I think, is the biggest thing.
Do you think that's just specific only to tech, or do you feel like there is a hunger right now for connectivity in a lot of different industries?
No, I believe that it applies to everything. Anything that you do, I think if you find a community, you'll thrive in that. So not just in tech, but in literally any industry or any field that you go into, finding a safe community is always something that would be really great.
Yeah.
You know,
How could how could that community even start? Right, like just
someone just has to start.
Honestly, well, that's all it is.
Someone
It's
just
not-
has to do it.
Yeah. Nothing.
do you think
nothing is more-
people? Is it just more so people can't don't know how to do it right now, or is it again? I'm being quite frankly honest. Do you feel like people who've made it right that do have those connections and stuff just don't want to make those connections or don't want to take the time to sit down and have these conversations and mentor people?
Well,
Within
let me
speaking
ask
about our
you,
community.
why haven't you started a community like that? Or what's stopping you from doing
I'm be
She
honest
flipped
with
the
you.
switch.
The first reason is me not feeling like I know what the fuck I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Which is cap.
Just no, I'm be honest with you. I honestly
that? Mm.
feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Majority of the time, I'm
That's
just
how
talking
everybody feels though.
That's not everybody. Yeah.
And
I feel like
impo-
that 99% of the time.
about imposter syndrome in tech. I'm not gonna lie to you, is one of the biggest things ever.
Mhm.
Because and this is crazy. The more I'm a cloud engineer, right? When I was working help desk, and it was just yo, reset this person's phone. The people I was sitting with, the conversations they were having was just so high level, right?
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
Yeah.
And it was just niggas with suits, yo, this is how you reset your phone. Anyways, yo, the network. And I'm damn, yo, we don't even do that, you know? But now that I'm sitting with people that have been there and done that, the first thing they say is, yo, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but let's start this meeting, guys. And then the ending of the meeting is, and these people making way more than me, it's let's pray to God this works.
Yeah.
Press that button.
That's
And
what
I'm
it is.
damn, so the more, honestly, the more someone starts to learn, the more they realize, yo, I really don't know shit. And I'm at that point where I'm be honest with you, somebody asks me a question, huh?
Yeah. But think about how much more you would know if you had a community of people, a huge community. Is
think
there,
Maryam should
And you
start it.
already know so much.
is there a giant, as I'm asking y'all to, but is there just a giant? I feel like there should just be a giant Discord or a giant group chat of just every Somali person who's in tech,
We have, well, I had to
or a platform or something. I feel like that would be inspirational. That would change so much. Imagine if
yeah.
every Somali person who's in tech knows every other Somali person who's in tech. First of
Bro,
all,
it goes back to that Farah thing too. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
but I feel like first of all, I feel like half of them would all just connect with each other and find something that they're all passionate about, and then maybe 20 companies would just pop out of that, just startups. If you took every single Somali person who's in tech and just put them in a I don't know how many people
Maryam,
you could
come
put in
on.
Discord,
started.
or do a
Getting
conference.
inspired.
Yeah.
Do a conference where you're
Bro, here's
and make
the
it
reason.
accessible.
Ah,
Make
yo,
it
this-
accessible. Make it
Mhm.
free. Do a free conference,
Yeah.
and then just bring everybody who's in tech or wants to be in tech,
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
and just
This-
do it.
this is
all
the
it takes
reason
is a
why it
room
hasn't
and
happened.
All it takes is a room, chairs,
Bro,
tables, and mics.
This is why
Why-
it's
why
happened.
hasn't
And
it
I think
happened?
we were talking to damn, I don't think the mics might have been off. We're talking to someone else. We're talking about the fact of yo, the people who want to do those kind of things are the people who've never done it, right? So it's
Mhm.
it's this weird thing of
That's everybody though.
no.
The guy who wanted to make a gun never made a gun.
But
before,
no.
until he did it. Dude
No,
who
no,
wanted to
I'm
fly.
not,
ain't
no,
never
I'm
flew
not
until he
saying that.
did
I'm
it.
not saying that. I'm
Oh.
saying in a sense of cap. So it's yo, somebody who has never worked in the field, right? That wants flowers, that wants clout, and that wants to be that yo. Let me go ahead and get all these people to come together so I can feel good about myself, right?
That's
And-
true.
And it's just that happens with a lot of
That's
things where it's
different.
yo, people don't got nothing going on.
Yeah.
So it's yo, let me just go ahead and make a nonprofit so I can quote unquote help these people, but so I can have recognition for it, right?
Then you
Mm.
vet it. I mean, you could vet it. You could look
I think
at
that's-
people and just have simple conversations. I feel like the both of you are well versed enough, at least in tech, where you know if somebody's capping or not. This nigga's a liar. So I mean, just kind of
A little bit.
vet it,
A little bit.
vet it in the aspect of who organizes it, but don't vet it in the aspect of who can attend it. Because even the guys who are capping, if they attend it and they see hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
that would maybe inspire them to stop the cap and just go actually learn this
And
shit.
when if they
Mm.
open their
And do
mouth,
it. And then imagine if you invite
wallah.
10,000 kids who are I remotely maybe feel like I might want to do tech,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can little Somali girls can talk to her and be maybe guys Somali
He's
men
joining
can
the
talk to
team.
you.
You got so many good ideas.
Yeah.
We
But
join
you know
the
what he
team.
could be? I'm not gonna lie to you,
Huh.
an amazing IT scrum master or program manager.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't be
But
good
you
at
know-
anything.
But look though, look.
You
the
don't have to be
idea-
good at it.
Connecting
You could
the-
always build your skill set.
and
Don't
then
worry about
connecting people is an avenue in tech that live companies are hungry for.
That I'm
Mhm.
good for, connecting people. I can do that.
that. That's a
I'm
skill
good at
in and of itself.
that. Yeah.
You know.
Let's do it. Let's make it the Goats Talk Tech Day or something.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
You gonna join? You gonna start one?
Apple's
Oh,
gonna be at the
100%.
door.
Yeah.
Give it like 5 years. Apple's gonna be
100%.
like, please let us into your conference.
Who?
Apple.
You?
Apple's. We need the Somalis.
No,
so-
wallahi, we have a community here that's so huge too.
So much potential.
And I think wallahi, the reason why again the imposter syndrome of like tech
Somalis
is so.
everywhere. You could do a tour.
No, but I mean like
There's how
tech
much
is
Somalis
so.
are everywhere.
But tech
You
is
could do
so
a tech tour. You
broad.
go to
though.
fucking New Zealand and there's Somalis there.
I don't know. The other reason is like tech is so broad, where
Mhm.
it'll be. And that's an amazing concept.
is,
But like,
and
there's
it's the
so many
future.
different avenues. Wallah.
It's the future too. Like, why don't we do it?
Someone needs to start.
We'll have the.
Hmm?
You said
I
what?
said someone needs to start
Yeah.
Why do you keep saying someone?
because I don't want it to be
You're-
me.
You don't want to start? Can your
No,
name
I'll be a part of it, but I'm not gonna be the one.
your
that
name
starts it.
got to be on there though.
Oh,
I
that's
don't-
another thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Like, I feel like some people are. So like, everybody's good at something, and the people that are really good at organizing and like putting events together and like being in leadership positions, they're all just shitty people. That's why we don't have things like this tech thing, and
Mhm.
that's why we don't have like you guys like we're talking about like people that are cappers or whatever it may be. Well, I like for the most part, think about politics. All the people that we have in politics, almost all of them, we're talking about this with Zainab too,
Yeah.
are just shitty individuals,
Mhm.
just like terrible people. But they have the capacity and the talent for like bringing people together. They're just using it for bad stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we need more.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, do you know how like there's that stigma of like Asian people in tech, right?
Yeah.
Somali people in Minneapolis.
By the way, Asians have the best like stigmas, right? They have the best. Like people think all Asians are smart. Think about how great of a stereotype.
that's what
that
I'm
is.
saying.
Like, there's a stigma of like there's a lot of Asians in tech. There's a stigma. Like, think about our people. There's a stigma. There's a lot of pirate Somalis.
That's
Like,
what I'm
our
saying.
thing. We're known as pirates. They're known as technicians. Like, what the fuck? They're chilling a lot.
So, but look though, well, I like something like this can't really change that, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
the idea of like, yo,
Mhm.
the community can just. I'm not gonna lie, why there are so many smart Somali people. I feel like we're just outshadowed by the noise, and that's a lot of communities too, though.
yeah.
And you know, politics and stuff with
But
Minneapolis.
we like it, though. I feel like Somali people, in a way, enjoy chaos, enjoy bulky balaya. So,
But
that
didn't she
kind of
just say
people
she loves the Somali weddings
me
because of the
too.
chaos?
Oh,
Yeah,
but
I
for
like
the
it.
right reasons,
it's
not
a,
not for the crazy, not for the crazy reasons.
I like the chaos.
But the
I
chaos,
like
yeah, the
it.
chaos is it's like a peaceful chaos. I don't know how to explain it.
Like
I just
bu-
love
the
being
buzz
around Somali
around-
people.
Yeah.
The buzz?
Yeah.
The buzz around being around. I love being around busy Somali people.
Yes.
It's comedy.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
Oh, especially at restaurants.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm all the questions, man. This was fun. I had a great time.